Hey, Hannah's Hive, it's Dr. Maya here, and I'm thrilled to invite you to our newest series, Faith Fuel, sharing testimonies and igniting hope. In the spirit of my dear grandmother Mary, who always says, you don't have to do anything extra, just tell what God did, we're embracing the simplicity and power of storytelling in this series. Your testimony, your unique story, is a beacon of hope, and we're here to amplify its impact. So, why Faith Fuel? Because we believe that within each testimony lies the power to fuel someone else's journey. There's an incredible strength in sharing what God has done in your life. This series is a testament to the fact that your story, no matter how seemingly small or ordinary, can be the exact fuel someone else needs to keep going, to overcome. So here's the purpose. We're creating a sacred space for you to share, connect, and inspire. And the benefits, oh, they are boundless. Whether you're a storyteller or a listener, Faith Fuel is a source of encouragement, a reminder that even in the midst of life's challenges, God's grace is at work. So stay tuned and let the stories unfold. Hey everyone, welcome to the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maya Fields, but to my friends and those who know me well, I'm just Maya. I'm a higher education administrator, a mother, and a wife of 14 amazing years. But above all, I'm a Christ follower. If you're tuning in for the first time, get ready to be embraced by our loving community who we affectionately call Hannah's Hive. And for our beloved returning listeners, get ready to dive deeper into the conversations you cherish. Now let's dive into what Hey Hannah is all about. This podcast is a special platform created to honor the memory of my beloved daughter, Hannah. It's here that I have the chance to have the conversations that I never got to have with her, to share the wisdom and love I wish I could have passed on. It's a reminder to cherish the precious moments we're given and a testament to the power of healing, hope, and personal growth. So why should you listen? Hey Hannah is not just another podcast. It's a journey of healing, growth, and rediscovery. Each episode, we explore topics that matter to our souls, from navigating grief to finding purpose and everything in between. The Hey Hannah podcast invites you to discover a community where love, resilience, and growth thrive. It's a place where we delve into the depths of vulnerability, so together we can find strength in the midst of life's toughest moments. Above all, our ultimate goal is for you to leave inspired, uplifted, and equipped with practical strategies to live life well. Get ready to uncover the wisdom in life's challenges, celebrate the blessings we have, and craft a life you're proud to live. Every Wednesday, get ready for another powerful episode that will make your heart smile and your soul soar. Hey Hannah is here to remind you that even in the face of adversity, laughter and learning can heal and transform. Remember, life may throw challenges our way, but with love and resilience, we can build a better future for ourselves and others. So if you're ready, if you're someone who's seeking personal growth, inspiration, and practical advice to build a solid foundation for a successful and fulfilling life, this is the place for you. Join me as we honor Hannah's memory together. Laugh, cry, and learn. Get ready for a podcast that is so much more than you could ever imagine. The Hey Hannah podcast. We're healing hearts one conversation at a time. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. Appreciate you so much for continuing to tune in every week. And I pray that you are being uplifted and encouraged, especially by our newest series, the Faith Fuel series, which I have already heard has been a blessing to so many. We have Tananda here who so graciously agreed to come and share her testimony with us. And we are so thankful to have her with us here today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, before Tananda jumps in, she wears several hats. She's an entrepreneur, an author, and she's just done a ton of different things. I'm sure we'll get to touch on those things as she tells her testimony. But as always, I will put her information in the notes, in the comments, so you can click down below if you want to connect with her even more outside of this platform and follow the amazing work that she is doing. So, Tananda, again, thank you so much for being here. Feel free to
Thank
take
you
it
for
away.
having me. Like you said, my name is Tananda. I am a mompreneur, I like to say. I started out um, just doing things that I love, hobbies like baking, babysitting, things like that. And as I got older, went into marriage. When the way I grew up, you get married, you have babies, you take care of the house, make sure that your husband's taken care of. And so that was the route that I was going. And my story kind of led me to my first book, which is entitled Loving My Blessings. And it's really talking about my infertility journey. And going through that was a roller coaster because it definitely surprised me because I thought, as a young, fertile woman, I should be able to, produce kids and have babies with my husband. And we would live happily ever after. That was my fairy tale always. And so it did not happen that way. And we tried for years and years and years to get pregnant, and it didn't happen. And so we talked about adoption and maybe going that route since we could not conceive. And so we actually ended up divorcing after almost 10 years of marriage. It wasn't working. He wasn't making me happy. And it wasn't until later that I discovered there was no way he could make me happy anyway. And so that came later on in life. But the first 25, 35 years of my life, I was looking to this man to, make me happy, or a man to make me happy. And since that did not happen, we divorced. I pivoted into foster care because I had a lot of time on my hands. I wasn't married anymore. And I had a house, I had love to give. And so I went that direction. And that led me on a journey in itself. I had three kids in the beginning. They were 1, 2, and 3 when they came to me. So I was a single mom with three kids, brand new. I never had kids in my home before. So as you can imagine, it was very hectic. But thankfully, I had a village, people around me that like supported me. They gave me breaks when I needed it. But for the most part, I fell in love with being a mom, and it was those precious moments just rolling around on the floor with my babies. Those were the moments that I loved the most, and I knew in my heart that I was supposed to be a mom, and I just could not understand why God had not allowed that to happen. And so fast forward a few years, they were foster babies, so they went back home to their family. And this cycle kind of continued year after year. I would have children, I would have them for almost a year, maybe 2 years, and then they'd leave. And I was just like, God, like I'm falling in love with these babies over and over again. Why are you tearing my heart apart over and over again? And so the last set when they left, I was living in Texas at the time. I grew up in Virginia, but I married my husband. He was stationed in Texas. We moved there, and I was there for almost 12 years. But when my last set of foster babies left, I was like, I can't take this anymore. I packed up and I moved back to Virginia, back home. I had met another man while I was visiting Virginia. He lived here, so I moved back home. We started dating, and I dived back into foster care. And going back into it this time, my heart was guarded because I knew the pain that could come from it, but I really wanted children. I really did, and so I did not want to give up on it. And so we went into it, and then again and again the cycle started. The kids would come, they'd leave, they come and leave. My husband and I got married. My husband now, we got married. We've been married for almost 4 years, coming this February, and he decided to join foster care with me, and so we were doing that up until um, January. No, until May this year. And our last set of babies left, and it crushed us because they had came to us with the expectation of adoption. And so they were going to be like our new babies, just our family would be complete. And that didn't happen, and it devastated us. And so we um, took a break. And so far, we have not had any more kids in our home, but God revealed to me that, this is a time for us to get to know one another. We've been doing foster care since we got married. And so we never had that just him and I time. And so that's what we've kind of been doing. We've moved out of our home that we had with the foster babies just to get a brand new start. So now we're living in an apartment, just the two of us. And, it's more confined. And so it makes us be more intimate with one another as far as spending time together and having, the hard conversations sooner than later. We can't run to different sides of the home. And so we have to have those hard conversations. But I am loving how God is showing himself in our relationship. Because my prayer was to have a godly husband, and he was not when I met him. And so I love where God is taking him now, which that is covered in my second book, titled Untangled. um, but yeah, my life is really been a roller coaster. God has taken me on a journey of self discovery, and knowing that just because I have not bore children, it does not mean that I cannot be a mother. And I've always wanted um, a huge family. We grew up with 6 kids in the home, and I always had a bunch of cousins and things. And so I wanted a huge family. I wanted that, to be able to cook the big meals, sit down to the family dinners. But what God told me was, I have a huge family, and it involves the kids that have come and gone. Not that I had to bear them myself, but I was able to impart love into them, each set of kids that came, and they took back what I gave them to, carry on in their lives. And hopefully it spills over into their children and their children, the values that we instilled in them. And each child that came into our home, we took them to church. They were always in kids' church, Sunday school, because I wanted them to know that God is number one. And no matter where you are, no matter how deep down you find yourself, you can always turn back to God. And so the past couple of years, we had the children and then they left. And so then that took me on a um, self searching journey, where God really showed me who I was, who He created me to be, and how far away I had gotten from that. And it was just because of life. And, growing up, I had, I'm a PK, I had preacher parents. And so we grew up in the church, religious background. And so there was a lot of things that I believed about myself that people told me that really wasn't true. But, partnering with God and allowing Him to peel back the layers, I found that I was a totally different person. I thought I was an introvert and I was shy and I needed to be in the background. And that was not me at all. God actually said that I am an extrovert, and He's really pulling me to the forefront. Here I am doing a podcast. And I was okay singing in the background. However, He's really calling me forward. I'm a worship leader at my church, and so I do wear many hats. I'm a worship leader at my church, and so I've been singing since I was a child. But now He's kind of again pulling me to the forefront. So now I've been singing on my social platforms, just kind of put my voice out there, and it's nerve wracking every single day that I have to do it, but I'm being obedient and following His guidance. Let's see what else. This journey to self discovery, it has been um, a roller coaster. And I keep using that word because it really has. When you're walking along a path for so long, and then the carpet is pulled from under you, and you are facing something that you've never known before, that's how I felt in discovering who I am. And I realized that it stemmed from childhood trauma, abuse, molestation, things that happened to me as a child. But I just kind of tucked it aside, tucked it in the back, and I kept going. And I've always been that way. I've never been the type to kind of just sit in anything that bothered me. I would just deal with it, and figure out the best way from point A to point B, get over it and move on. Never really like taking a moment to process the feelings, the emotions, how it affected me, because I was so worried about how it affected other people. And so finally coming out and telling my story in my most recent book, um, I was very, very worried about how it would affect my family, because there were things in my book that even my parents didn't know about. And so as of yet, we have not had a conversation about it. However, I know that one day it will come, but I believe that God is preparing hearts for that conversation. Um,
Thank you so much for sharing. You touched on so many important things, wonderful things. I love what you've done in the foster community, just the love that you poured into those children. And you made a great point. You know, you wanted a big family. You have had the opportunity to touch way more children than someone who would be in a traditional setting birthing children. You've been able to influence so many more than someone in that capacity could possibly even dream of. So I'm glad that you were able to share your story. For anyone who's listening and they hear your story, they hear your testimony, what would you like them to take from your testimony to help them to be encouraged and continue to move forward?
Well, there's a lot in that testimony. So I'll start with anyone that is believing for children and they have not been able to conceive or been able to adopt. I would say keep the faith, and definitely surround yourself with people who have the same amount of faith that you do, if not more, because there will be times when you'll be down and out and doubting that it'll even happen. And then you'll need that support system to kind of uplift you. So I would say have a faith filled community for sure.
Amen. Absolutely. Tananda, thank you so much for being here. I absolutely appreciate your openness and your bravery for coming to share with us on our Faith Fuel series. Hannah's Hive, this has been another installment of our Faith Fuel series. As I mentioned before, I pray that you all were blessed by this episode. And until next time, everybody, take care.
Then that's it. I'm out of here.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. We hope that you found inspiration, insight, and encouragement in our conversation today. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay connected with us, be sure to like, subscribe, and review the Hey Hannah podcast. Your feedback helps us reach more people and spread our message of love and wisdom. You can also follow us on social media at Hey Hannah Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay updated on all the latest episodes, behind the scenes exclusives, and engaging content. And for those of you who prefer the visual experience, catch the video versions of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Just search Hey Hannah Podcast and hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode. For even more Hey Hannah goodness, visit our website at www.heyhannahpodcast.com. There you'll find updates, bonus content, and join a community that embraces you with open arms. Your continued support truly means the world to us. Together, let's spread love, share wisdom, and honor every precious moment. Because here at Hey Hannah, we believe that life is meant to be lived well. Remember, a new episode of the Hey Hannah podcast is released every Wednesday, so mark your calendars and be sure to tune in. Thank you again for being a part of Hannah's Hive. Until next time, take care. entertainment.